This is my 21 Icon Roadmaster in black Azul and stealth gray Azul. We're going to be installing some slip-ons. Right now, as the stock pipe's on there, we're going to go with Shark Road slip-ons. They're considerably less expensive. I'm putting the chrome ones on. This bike has tons of chrome on it. A lot of people, I've saw some reviews and saw some people that have them, and they liked them over their Screaming Eagles. They were considerably cheaper, and actually for the Harleys, they're less expensive than they are for the Indians. But when I'm talking about the Indians, you know, they're between $500 to $800 and sometimes more for some of your slip-ons, and they're quite a bit louder. These are supposed to be louder, but actually more of a deeper sound than some of the other ones, but not quite as loud, not quite as aggressive, which is what I'm looking for. I don't want them to go super loud. So like I said, some of the other guys who had them on their bikes, they liked them better than their Screaming Eagles, and they really loved the cost, even though they had the blacked out ones that took some maintenance to them. The black ones, the finish didn't last as long as they wanted, but they were half the cost of what the other ones they were buying. We're gonna give these a try and see what it sounds like. Now I'm gonna start this bike up. I'm gonna run it at about, it'll start up in idle, of course, and then I'm gonna get it up to about 1500. Bring it up to 2000, which is 2000, and then 2500 and 3000. Those are usually RPM ranges that I'm running, you know, right around there. I'm cruising a lot of times about 2000 RPM. And then other times, you know, when I'm going a little bit more, you know, I'm running 25 to 3000 RPM. But you know, and the other shout out to Ultra Cool. They put the first fanned oil cooler on any of the Roadmasters. This one got the first one. It was a test model. They wanted to see if it would fit on there with the fairing without having to do any modifications. They made a new one that's called what they call their naked version, and it's been really working out well. It's been doing really nicely. It comes on, goes off. You know, when it gets hot outside. I ran through, went out to, what was that, Pahrump, and it was 90, 98 up to 100 out there, and the bike ran really nicely, even though we were going through some of the slower sections of the road. Went through Death Valley. It was beautiful out there, but that worked out really well. So now we're going to start it up. I'll set it up and show you what it sounds like with this, and hopefully then we'll come back after I've installed it. I'm not going to go through the whole installing process. Of course, you're going to have to remove your saddlebags off of both sides to get underneath and to get it off, and don't forget to remove the forward clamp on the heat shield. You'll spend some time trying to get it off. I discovered that when I was had to remove it just so I can change my tire. I change my own tires here. You know, I don't take it in for everybody else to do my work. But yeah, you have to undo that hose clamp and take your saddlebags off. So here, this is what it's going to sound like, at least on stock. I don't know if you could hear my voice over all that, but of course you saw there was an idle, and then I rolled it up to 2000, then 2500, then 3000 RPM. So we're going to see how it goes from there, and see how we like it. Hopefully it won't be that much louder, and it'll just give it a little bit more. All right, it took me a few hours to change over the pipes. Here they are. I don't know if you can see the difference in the tips and that, but they gave me a little bit more volume, not hideously, just a little bit, and a little deeper sound, which is what I wanted. I wanted a little deeper sound. I wasn't looking for it to be super loud, and that's exactly what I got. So so far it looking really good. I was a little worried that it might be tinny. They're a little lighter than stock ones, but they're not tinny. They don't sound bad. I mean, in the worst case scenario, the nice thing is they put bolts in here so you can take out the inner muffler and then repack it, which is nice. And if you need to, you can repack it sooner if you want it a little. It will give it a little deeper sound if you want to. But that's nice is that, and then it makes them rebuildable, because mufflers go bad. The packing usually burns out in them. Some guys will stuff stainless steel in there, but even with stainless steel wool in there, that still goes bad, or steel wool, I should say. It'll rust, it'll corrode from the heat and the moisture coming through. But on a couple other notes, I changed over from the Metzler Cruise Tech tires, which handled really well for stock tires. I mean, I was really kind of surprised with how well they handled and they performed. And I got nearly 10,000 miles out of them. These are the 777 Shinkos, and I've got a little over 7,000 miles on them, and they are working really nice. They're getting a little low, so I don't know if I'm going to get quite 10,000 out of them, but they're phenomenally less expensive. I think I paid, if I'm not mistaken, like $235 for the set to have them shipped to my house. I changed my own tires, and I bead balanced my tires. One of the shops I went to, they got me into bead balancing, so I just do it myself. It's easier, and it's not that hard. And this is me, a jack. Anyway, so the tires did really well. I'm happy with the 777s. We'll see how many more miles I get out of them. I'm going to turn the bike on. We'll see it at 1,000 RPM. Then we'll run it up to 2,000. Then we'll run it again up to 25, then 3,000. And I already started it up once. I had to wait for my damn laptop to cool down. It's a little bit of princess. It's like 78 degrees out here, and it said it was too hot. So we're going to go to that, and we'll get going. This plate doesn't fall off. Oh, gosh. Be your thing, but these are phenomenally less cost. I paid $315 for them, and some of the other ones were so much more, over $800. You know, for the Indian. When you go to the Harley, you can get these even cheaper for a lot of the Harleys, but really nicely, and the chrome finish looked really nice. I was putting them on. I used some of their hardware. Their bolts are a little bit, they use like a 10 millimeter top rather than a 13 millimeter, which is on here. But the thread size was exactly the same. but their mount on the inside of the muffler up to the bike is slightly closer, a little bit smaller. So I can see why they wanted to run washers and, you know, extra locking nuts on there, because they were using the exact same length bolt as what was the stock ones. I ended up using the stock ones, but I use their washers at least. I like the stock size bolts on here. Don't really want to change everything. That's about it. They looked really nice. You know, they went on well. They went on easily. Took me a little bit. That side was harder for me to get off on the stock one. I hadn't taken it off yet. You know, you have to take this side off to get your axle out. So, other than that, it really went well for me. Hope that helps you out.